You know, for thousands of years, there's been this one tree. People have called it the village pharmacy, a cure for just about everything, a real gift to humanity. But when you put it under a modern microscope, the story gets way, way more complicated. So yeah, let's dive right into the incredible, contradictory world of the neem tree.
I mean, just listen to its name. In Persian, it's called the free tree of India. The name itself implies that this is a plant that's just above it all, untouched by pests, free from sickness. And that ancient reputation has really shaped how people have seen it for centuries.
So that's really the big question we're going to try and answer, right? Is neem this amazing cure-all that traditional wisdom says it is, or are there some serious risks hiding just beneath the surface that we really need to know about? All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics, what this tree even is. Then we'll dig into its cultural roots. After that, we'll see what modern science has to say about both the good and the bad. We'll even touch on its role for the planet before we wrap it all up.
Okay, first things first. What exactly is the neem tree? Before we get into the myths and the science, let's get our facts straight.
So if you want to get technical, its name is Azadirachta indica. It's this super hardy, fast-growing evergreen that absolutely loves tropical weather. And even though it originally comes from Asia, it's so tough that people grow it all over the world now.
Now here's a pro tip, because this tree has a look-alike, the China berry. They're related and they look super similar. The easiest way to tell them apart is to look at the leaves. Neem leaves are pretty simple, one stem with little leaflets branching off. But China berry leaves, they're way more complex. Those leaflets actually divide again.
Okay, so now we know what it is. Let's get into why this tree is so famous. Its place in different cultures isn't just about medicine, you know? It's literally woven into the fabric of everyday life.
People have found a use for just about every part of this tree. For centuries, farmers have tossed dry leaves in with their rice and wheat to keep bugs away. People use the twigs as a natural toothbrush. They call it a datoon. And get this, in some places, they even cook and eat the bitter flowers and shoots. It's also a huge part of culture, like in the Hindu New Year festival, Ugadi.
But out of all those uses, the one that really stands out is its role in traditional medicine. For generations, if you had a skin problem or a fever, you turned to neem. It was the original go-to remedy, which is exactly how it earned that nickname, the village pharmacy. So that's the tradition. But how does all of that hold up today? This is where we shift gears, moving from age-old wisdom to the cold, hard facts of the science lab. What happens when you really scrutinize these so-called miracle properties? And boom, here's the reality check. Despite thousands of years of use, when scientists looked at all the modern clinical trials, they found there's just not enough solid evidence to back up most of the medicinal claims for neem in humans. It's a massive disconnect between what tradition says and what pharmacology can prove.
But, and this is a big but, science has backed up one of neem's traditional uses in a huge way. It all comes down to this one incredibly complex chemical called azadirachta, which is mostly in the seeds. Think of it as the plant's secret weapon, a defense mechanism. And this chemical, it is an absolute powerhouse against insects.
So how does it work? Well, it's not like a typical poison, it's actually much smarter. First, when an insect eats it, it just stops feeling hungry. But the real kicker is that the compound totally messes with the insect's hormones, so it can't grow up or lay eggs properly. It's an incredibly effective and natural way to control pests.
So, we have this scientifically proven benefit, but that powerful chemistry also has a dark side, a scientifically proven dark side. The very thing that makes neem so useful against insects can also make it incredibly dangerous for us.
And this is the part you really need to hear. This is not an exaggeration. Neem oil is toxic if you ingest it. It is especially dangerous for small children. There have been documented cases of severe poisoning, and some have even been fatal. And it's not just the risk of acute poisoning in kids. There's a whole list of other serious health concerns. It's been linked to miscarriages and could even cause infertility. It can make your blood sugar drop to dangerously low levels. And in the worst poisoning cases, it can cause brain swelling and a condition that looks a lot like Ray's syndrome. So no, this is not some harmless herbal tea you can just use without thinking.
Okay, so we've seen a plant that's a cultural icon, but also a personal health risk. It's a real mixed bag. But let's zoom out for a second and look at its role in the bigger picture, in the environment, because that's where the story gets a whole lot clearer.
Ecologically, the neem tree is an absolute champion.
It's incredibly resistant to drought, which makes it perfect for planting in dry, barren areas to bring them back to life. It helps stop deserts from spreading, and it makes the soil healthier. Plus, since it grows so fast, it's a fantastic tool for pulling carbon dioxide right out of the atmosphere.
So, where does that leave us? We've got this plant that's treasured in tradition, powerful in agriculture, seriously risky for our health, but amazing for the planet. How do we make sense of all that? Let's try to tie these threads together.
You know, this table really sums it all up perfectly. On one side, you have the traditional promises. It's a cure-all. It's this sacred gift. And on the other side, you have the scientific reality. Not much proof for the cures, but very clear proof of its toxicity, its power as an insecticide, and its value to the environment.
The bottom line is this: simple labels just don't work for the neem tree. It's not a miracle cure, but it's not just a poison either. It's an incredibly complex plant with a powerful chemical makeup that reminds us of a really important lesson. Natural does not automatically mean safe.
And that brings us to the final, really crucial question. The story of neem is the perfect example of a much bigger challenge we face today. How do we respect and learn from thousands of years of traditional knowledge while also applying the rigorous safety standards of modern science? Finding that perfect balance, that's the real key to unlocking the true and safe potential of the natural world.